Symptoms. J-Dog back to answer some more goddamn questions. Questions we're going over today are on the next video where we left off. Pretty sure it's this one. What happened to Caligula? Question mark. Did he quit Dark Funeral or kick to the curb? See if anybody in there actually fucking knew. But 240 fucking comments, so a lot. Scroll the first goddamn question marks. At the bottom, I got distributive call points. Dog, you didn't dig a single riff from Fear, Emptiness, Despair? Question mark. Come on, brah. I call BS. Dude, Fear, Emptiness, Despair. That was one of the Napalm Death '90s albums. I mean, granted, I haven't listened to it since I was a teenager, but I remember that one. There's that Greed Killings EP. What was the other ones? There was like 2 or 3 full lengths from back then. Diatribes. I mean, I'd have to go back and listen to them. I just remember them being fucking bad. Um, it just wasn't even Napalm. I mean, the thing is too, even with like Utopia Banished and shit, I do like it, but it's kind of like it was just very kind of like just generic death metal. And when you really break it down, like, because for starters, like Napalm Death is kind of like, why do they like go there? Like, they started off as a grind band with Scum, which is a goddamn masterpiece. From Enslavement to Obliteration, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't get very many spins, but it's at least cool for fucking. It was still a grindcore, you know, legendary record for what the band set out to do. Um, I do like those death metal records. You know, when they Barney entered the band, those early ones. Like I said, Utopia Banished down. Uh, but it was kind of like, again, there was just shit that was just way, way better. When you're thinking like late '80s, early '90s death metal bands of the big boys, because Napalm Death was one of the big boys, right? Like bands like Cannibal and Deicide and Morbid Angel and even Massacre, since Barney was trying to single thing. Um, fucking who else as far as the first Gore Fest record, Sinister. Thinking of the bands around the time, you know, in the early '90s, late '80s, coming around that putting out albums. Um, Kind of leave the Swedish scene out because since it was a totally different sound. Um, Malevolent Creation, Monstrosity. Those bands were just those are just way better death metal albums. I mean, I'm sorry, they just are. Even Immolation, Incantation, they're just way better. I mean, hell, even as much as I rip on Asphyx and kind of toss them under the bus, the Rack and um, second one, fucking whatever the fuck it's called, Last One on Earth. Uh, they're just better death metal records than Utopia Banished. It's a very okay death metal record. That's, to be honest, not very memorable either. Again, I own it. I like it. And what's the other one? The one before it, Harmony Corruption. Yeah, it's cool. It's good, but I mean, again, dude, it's no Deicide. Deicide. I mean, it's not even a comparison in my opinion. Monstrosity, Imperial Doom, a band that didn't even come close to the size of Napalm Death. Imperial Doom destroys those albums. But then when they put those '90s junk albums out, that was fucking garbage. The reason some of the 2000s albums were kind of cool again because they were playing grindcore like Enemy of the Music Business, but it was like good, memorable riffs, blasting grindcore. So they weren't like going back to their roots, but they're at least going back to the roots in the sense they were playing grind when they started off. It wasn't death metal, and the songs were fucking good. And then yeah, the last few albums they started throwing in that dumbass industrial shit. Um, Barney kind of just looks fucking ridiculous. It's like put it this way, I would have if I didn't know who he was, seeing him fucking outside the street, I would never guess that guy's into fucking metal. Doesn't look the least bit metal to me. So kind of like when Euronymous and shit was ripping on bands, and Napalm Death was one of them. Not saying I agree with them, but at the same time, I get where he was coming from. Let's just say that wasn't Deicide he was talking. I was asking me talking about, dude. Deicide's got a way more extreme and tough image than fucking Mayhem, dude. That's for goddamn sure. So what are you talking about? Especially, I mean, look at the back of fucking Death Crush. Got that. Who's the guy that looks like a goddamn golfer in the fucking corner? I forget which one it was. And then you got a bunch of goddamn 120-pound fucking pipsqueak fucking Pee Wee Hermans. Glenn Benton and the crew, they look fucking rough, tough, fucking inverted cross brand in his forehead. I mean, it looks, you know what I mean? That looks fucking evil. That fit the goddamn bill. But Napalm Death, yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from. Didn't care, and at the time when he was doing it, at least they had, for the most part, from I remember band shirts on for the majority of their photos and long hair, but kind of just like who these skater ass rockers. I mean, I get where he's again. Not saying I fully agreed with him, but I kind of understood where he came from. I mean, just imagine now what the fuck he'd be thinking. Granted, we already established that if Uranus was still alive, he'd be pussing it up too, hanging out with the Covenant or something very similar. But if that mindset back then, take that and fast forward into today's society, we got fucking pink sweaters and goddamn ear gauges and deathcore, new metalcore, crab walks, fucking baggy pants, sidewars, hats, all just stupid fucking shit. Hieronymus was bitching about Napalm Death and Deicide, saying they didn't fit the goddamn bill. So I'm getting called out for just calling out obvious shit. But no, Fear, Emptiness, and Spirit Bra, I mean, I have to go back and listen to it, but even the cover sucked. Even the logo sucked. Down blue chunks, bra. Matt C, J Dog, will you go see Sodom at Hell's Heroes next year? It was just announced. Probably not, just because, so a little bit of an inside backstory. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this thing. There's still nothing announced. He never emailed me back. I mean, is he dead or in jail? Jamie Josta, fucking, for Milwaukee Metal Fest. I mean, he did tell me point blank in my face it wouldn't be that same weekend, but the following year, I mean, so June, July, whatever, dude, you got technically if it's going to be in June, it's less than a year until it goes on. What's going on? Who's playing? Look at Metal Threat. Oh, not all the bands are announced, but a lot of the bands are announced, and that's more than a year away because it's next. It's not this October. It's next 2024 October. So what is that? Like 15 months or so from now? He's already announcing bands. If theoretically fucking Milwaukee's going to be goddamn July or anything even close to that, it's like, dude, what's going on? Is it happening? Is it not happening? The reason I bring it up, and the only reason I kind of fucking care, is for starters, Sodom. I wasn't too surprised. He told me Sodom was going to be playing Milwaukee. What he said was the reason they couldn't get in the country was a lot of the other guys that are trying to put on fests and try to bring them in the past, and why Sodom couldn't get in. For example, like the Blast Maryland, they tried to use the backdoor fucking tourists, and it didn't work. Basically, long story short, they don't want to pay the goddamn visas, the work visas, which is an extra bill. Trying to the cheapo on it, and don't get me wrong, I get it. Because what is it? I think it's like $5,000 or something for the work visa. So, but Jamie's just, I'm just gonna fucking pay for the goddamn thing. They're good for what, the whole year or so. I don't know if that was code he already paid for it, because ironically enough, he told me that way before Hell's Heroes announced it, and I saw MDF. They're playing the Thursday at MDF, so it's like, oh, so Sodom's playing MDF, which I'm going to, and theoretically Milwaukee. The name Sodom was thrown out coming to the States before any of this shit was announced. I heard about it first fucking hand. So in my mind, it was like, oh, I'm going to get to see Sodom in Milwaukee. And then the other thing where I'm getting kind of not irritated, but I'd like to know if it's goddamn happening or not, and I really hope Milwaukee happens, is because he told me his pretty much definite bands that he had lined up for next year was Sodom, Overkill, and Deicide. When I heard Deicide, that's on that ring, 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 ring. And I'm, kind of in cahoots with the fucking guy putting on the event, and at least have in-person communication with him. And I point place that asked them on camera too. I want to get a Glenn Benton interview. I will go to the fest. If nothing else, I will go just for that. Because if I'm ever going to get a GB interview, it's going to be at that. So that's why I'm kind of like, is this thing happening? I hope so, because that was his words, not mine. Fucking Deicide, Overkill, and Sodom. He's like, they're 90% confirmed, pretty much definitely going to do it. And then Deicide, it's pretty much 100%. He's like, Glenn told me yes, and he's like, yeah, if it happens, like, oh, I'll definitely be able to get you an interview. Like, no question. So I'm like, in my mind, I'm automatically going. So I'd like to kind of know what the fuck's going on with that goddamn fest, because I was definitely kind of pumped about that, to be honest with you. So anywho, to answer the Sodom thing, I saw Texas. Why the fuck am I going to fly to Texas to go see Sodom? But even if Milwaukee didn't happen for whatever reason, again, I guess anything's possible because nothing's announced. Sodom is playing the Thursday at the Maryland Death Fest. Mulder's playing as well, so that's cool. And I think maybe even Midnight's playing, but a few other bands I like are playing that Thursday. I will be there, but I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'm not ecstatic about the whole goddamn thing because that means I gotta drive down Wednesday, and then I'm at the fest for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 day, yeah. No, actually, the thing is it on a Wednesday? I remember it being like a 5 day fest. I think it is a Wednesday. I think Sodom's on Wednesday, bruh. That means I gotta drive down Tuesday. Because whatever I did the math, I'm like 5 day fest. I've never done a 5 day fest. The most I've ever done is a fucking 3 day fest, um, which was our fest and Maryland Death Fest. I don't think the Ohio Death Fest back in the day were 3 days. I think they were just 2 days. Maybe they might have been 3 days. I can't remember, but nonetheless, I've only done 3 days. One of ours had bashes, and also yeah, Maryland. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, man. By day three, I'm like, fuck this. To be honest, day two, when I'm halfway through day two, I'm like, I'm ready to go home. Tired, and I'm ready to. I'm just over it. To be honest with you, 5. Woo wee. Don't not even 100% sure I'm going to make it through that. Technically, it's kind of like 6 because, like I said, I got to drive down there the day before, check into my Airbnb and all that other shit. Get settled in, get whatever I need to get, food wise, everything. I'm not driving down the day of 6 fucking because it's a 6 hour drive, and then showing up to the show all groggy and shit. Fuck, let me stretch out. And I'm not doing that. And then stand there fucking doing the show the whole time. So yeah, not happy about that, but that's when Sono's playing. That's when Sono's playing. It's definitely more convenient than me flying to Texas. So cool that Sono's playing. Um, Sounds like I'm going to finally get to see him in my lifetime. Now, I'd be up for interviewing Tom Angel Ripper. Now, will I? Probably not. Not because I won't, because I doubt I'm going to get him. I'm sure he's hiding backstage and getting blowjobs and doing photo shoots and whatever other rock star shit these guys do. But I would totally be up for it. And you got to remember, too, I have no in with anybody at MDF. As opposed to like Metal Threat and shit. Kind of got in. I mean, I have Paul's contact. We talked. At least you guys walking around like MDF. I don't even know who owns that fucking thing. I've heard names thrown out there that people know, but it's nobody I ever met. Nobody I knowingly met, anyways. Maybe he is walking around. I met him, but is it Kevin or Adam or something? Whatever the fuck it is. Regardless, I don't fucking know the guy. So it's not like I can say, hey, yeah, where's goddamn Tom at? You know what I mean? Uh, Metal Threat shit. There's a little bit more of a chance with when bands playing there. Same with Milwaukee now. But MDF, it's I'll ask around while I'm there, but don't get your hopes up on a fucking Sodom interview. I sure as fuck ain't. But again, I will ask. Matthew Hamilton, hey J Dog, what do you think of the first 2 Witchery albums? Question mark. Been years since I listened to them. I remember it being pretty good black and heavy metal that was kind of wimpy, kind of for the chicks. Uh, Rotting definitely sends them home on a stretcher. But, for a good fucking wimp listen, I thought it was pretty good. That's how I recall it. But been a while, so I heard those. We're talking early 2000s. Rich Pittman. Sup, J-Dog? Question marks. I was looking through my collection and forgot about this compilation CD of a band called Narcolepsy of their 3 demos in the mid-90s. You ever listen to that? No, doesn't ring a bell. Question marks. Kind of a rare hidden gem if you ask me. Kind of a funny name for a brutal death metal band. Yeah, a little bit. I've definitely heard a hell of a lot fucking worse. Better than goddamn Job for a Cowboy, that's for goddamn sure. Grant, I'm not even 100% goddamn sure what the fuck kind of music Job for a Cowboy is, but it's literally, I heard the name, the year 2000s. I'm like, I'm not listening to this shit. Dennis Jordan, my ex wife was a metal person when she was younger, but she got older and left all that stuff beyond. From beyond. Well, the stuff beyond. Yo fuck tampon boy. So calling her wife a tampon boy. Yeah, I mean that's common amongst even just dudes, but even amongst chicks. I mean, if you have a teenage girl who's generally into metal and shit like that, yeah, come back and see me when you're 35, 40 years old. The odds very unlikely. I could see they have more of a standing chance, especially if they're buying physical format. If they're buying CDs and records and shit, that kind of tells me that they have an interest to collect and passion. If they're just buying shirts and going to shows, I'd put $1,000 on each one of them. You come back 20 years from later, they're not going to be into this shit no more. Like, I just, there's not. Once they get, they're going to get fucking, they're going to graduate high school, they're going to go to college, they're going to get hooked up, they're going to get married, they're going to get divorced, they're going to hook up with somebody else, they're going to have another fucking kid, they're going to have their job, they're going to have their responsibilities, white picket fence, 9 to 5 fucking job. They're not going to listen to this shit anymore. I'm just telling you. There's exceptions to the rule. I know fucking goddamn Whitney or something's watching the video and being like, what the fuck? That's me. I've been listening since I was fucking 12 and I'm 45 now, you young kiddo. Yeah, there's exceptions. I'm not saying nobody. I'm just saying, as the general rule of thumb, and pointing out how many younger chicks have you seen going to shows 20 years ago that you never see anymore? I can tell you right now. All the chicks that I seen going to shows since I was a teen, my teenage years and shit. I'm trying to think. I don't think I see any of them around still. Any of them. And talk about the Cleveland scene. None. Yeah, I literally I can't think of it. I can't think of a single one. I mean, even chicks like I know she moved, so I don't know if she still listens to this shit or not. Like listens to the music. I'm sure she probably still listens to chicks like Rhea and stuff from Somnus. She'd be at the shows and even shows that they weren't playing. But granted, her defense, maybe she still does. Uh, but because but she does. She doesn't live in Ohio anymore. She moved to I don't know what state she lives in. She moved to Michigan or some shit. Uh, so to her defense, maybe she does, but just in the state that she now lives in. But she was one of them, and I'm thinking of a handful of others. I remember one chick, I can't remember. She worked for a label. She had a bunch of tattoos, some on the face and shit. She'd show up to shows. She had a little buddy that came with her. They were a few years older than me, so when I was like 15 and shit, she was showing up to shows. She was probably like 20, 21. Was at all the shows, especially the black metal shows. I forget her fucking name for the life of me. They're always cool and friendly, but I haven't seen her in 20 goddamn years. I get her friend that tagged along too. 20 goddamn years, easily. Um, some of the chicks that hang out at Baxter shops, 20 years. Haven't seen them. The chick that used to work at Flying Machine, over 20 years. Where's she? Dead or in jail? Probably not, or not listen to metal. So, yeah. So any of them that's going to say otherwise, oh, this guy's full of shit. Prove me wrong. Again, if you're 19 years old, you don't get an opinion on a topic you haven't been around long enough. You're 5 years ago going to shows, which was yesterday. That doesn't qualify for the answering it. Answer: if you've been going to shows for 20 years plus, how many chicks did you see back then, 20 years ago, that are still into this? Again, I'm not saying there's nobody. Of course, there's somebody. But I'm just saying in the Cleveland scene, I can't think of one. I might be forgetting somebody, but I cannot think of a single goddamn one. I imagine it's pretty goddamn similar everywhere else. Dinkins. Napalm Death has clean vocals? Question mark. Yeah, they do, and it ain't good. Maybe I won't check out the latest stuff. Some bad shit on there. Don't get me wrong, he had some pretty cool songs too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say it's complete junk from beginning to end, but it definitely had some garbage on there. Andy Barker. I was just telling my wife that my 6-year-old should hear some heavy, heavy. He's enjoying Judas Priest and Queen right now. Up next will be Satan is King. Satan is King by AC/DC. There's a song called Satan is King? AC/DC? I shot a loop. I don't know that goddamn song. Oh, there's an answer. Ricky Jones says, I thought Caligula was out because he was married. Is it another pussy whipped? Pussy whipped. Don't you know you're pussy whipped? Like, what do you mean you're out because you're married? Like, dude, literally, okay, so you got married, left the man. You met the chick before you were married. Shit like that. Little advice to the fucking dudes. You lay those things that are really important to you. You lay it down that first fucking date. If you're fucking that night, you lay it down like, hey, there's certain things. These these are unbreakable rules. For example, I remember saying it to fucking Lindsay, like, I don't know if it was the first night, but goddamn, literally the first week, I go to the gym X amount of times. There is no You can't even like try to bend this rule. There is no wiggle room. There is no I'm tuckered out. You don't have to go. I go. That and that's not debatable. There's no debating that. That's with Caligula. You get in a relationship. As soon as he stuck his fucking dick in that and he was serious about it, he should have laid down the ground rules. I'm gonna ban and I fucking tour. This is what I do. What is this pussy whip shit? You're out because you're married? What the I sincerely hope that's not the goddamn fucking reason. Fucking I've got every time I listen to Dark Funeral and Hypocrisy, now I'm like, ugh, fucking boots. Got a complete fucking pushover fucking wimp on goddamn vocals. Like, what do you mean? It's not like she didn't know you were into shit. I mean, chances are you met the girl because of your his stats. Again, I can be completely wrong on that too. But I'm guessing probably that's how a lot of these guys do it. I know that. Um, I would have told her, fuck off and fuck you and the horse you rode in on. I'm not, breaking up and leaving my band because of this. Other guys make it work. Corpse Grinder's married for God knows how fucking long. He's on the road a hell of a lot more than Caligula was. Not that Dark Funeral or any slouches. They're not doing dick either because they're a pretty big band now too. But slipping out a fucking black metal according to some of these idiots in the comments. But I mean, come on, if Corpse Grinder can do it, why the fuck can't you, brah? Like again, that's just that Ricky words. I don't know if that's the real reason. Anyone else freaking hear that? Um, I didn't hear that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, then again, nothing surprises me these fucking days. So if that's true, let me know. But definitely kind of a disappointing fucking answer if that's what the real answer is. Comes with search, you know what the fuck it is. But the guys get answer in the morning later. God damn it.